Have you heard people talking at the water cooler about some aspect of their house being grandfathered? Well, today I'm going to explain what non-conforming means. And yes, I do not like the term grandfather because there are multiple layers of property rights and it's just not that simple. If you don't know the answer to this and other related home buying questions, become empowered and savvy and save thousands of dollars by knowing what you need to know. So let's establish under the zoning code there are two types of non-conforming uses and structures. As far as building, fire, health, and any other codes that regulate property, we're not talking about these regulations or these issues today. So let's start off with what non-conforming means. The term means that when the land was built upon or there was a use that was established, it was done lawfully under the government regulations at the time. You establish that legality through the issuance and sign off of a permit. Now, fast forward to today, and those regulations have changed. This happens because people sue towns, or there's a better way to write the code or a sentence. And a lot of times, urban planners share codes to solve problems. There's a wonderful association called the American Planning Association. It has a library of codes that they share nationwide. And governments change regulations to make their town, quote unquote, better. But just because they say that they are going to change the code from here forward doesn't mean that they have the legal right to take away your legal property right. So the term non-conforming is established. The property did conform at one time, but it no longer conforms to the current regulations. So let's talk structures. Typically, structures have setbacks, floor area ratio, height regulation, and other urban elements such as parking size, spaces, etc. Let's say someone built a garage legally, and at the time of construction, there was a 0-yard setback. And now the side yard setback is 15 feet. The government can't tell you you have to tear it down because it is a legal non-conforming right. Simple, right? Well, not always, because usually water and time changes things. So, for example, have you seen any poorly maintained garages around town? So, are you allowed to repair and replace parts of the garage so it doesn't fall down? Well, the answer is yes, but 100%. You need to speak with the local town officials and follow the process exactly. They are there to advise you, or you will jeopardize your non-conforming right and you could even lose it. And I'm not kidding around about this, so don't mess around. I used to cite people and make people take down structures when they didn't follow the right process. All this seems simple enough, and there are thousands and thousands of questions that you may have, and sometimes those questions morph into other questions when buying a home. And instead of hunting and pecking all around for these answers, we have organized everything you need into one clear step-by-step roadmap at the First Time Homebuyer Workshop, and we take you from feeling completely overwhelmed by the process to having full control. Now, as an example, we were talking about non-conforming structures, but also let's talk about uses, because a lot of people have home-based businesses that are not in a commercial zone. So I want to give you an example. Let's say someone has a dog kennel and there are 30 dogs that can be cared for at the kennel when it was established in 1962, legally established. Then over time, the town said, no, not 30, only 10. So now what? The legally established kennel can remain as long as they operate properly, but any new kennels in the same zone are not allowed and only allowed to serve 10 dogs. Does that make sense? So typically, if a non-conforming use stops operation for 12 months, then the use is lost. Now, every town is different, and it could be more restrictive or less restrictive, so be sure to check. And you guessed it, with town hall. Now, most town officials are super nice and they are there to serve the public. And if you treat them with respect, they will help you get your project going and conform. Now, here's another example. What happens if there's a fire in a garage and a good chunk of the garage burns down? Can you replace it? Well, the government has a solution for this too, and it's usually something called like a reconstruction permit. But again, you must follow the code in the town regulations to a T. And in general, just so you know, you can't usually expand a non-conforming structure, or most likely you will lose your non-conforming rights. There is a lot to know before you buy a home, and we have the answers that will save you a ton of money. But best of all, you will buy your home and not regret it when you join our community at the First Time Home Buyer Workshop. We can't wait to meet you.